Okay, Ms. George, we're live. You may begin.
All right, thank you. Good evening. Welcome to King Middle School's Go Team meeting, where we will follow the agenda as it has been emailed to you and publicly noticed. I would like to remind everyone that this is the meeting of the Go Team. Only members of the team may participate in the discussion. Any members of the public present are here to quietly observe. For members of the Go Team, please identify yourself when you speak. I am pleased to call this meeting of the King Middle School Go Team to order at 5:37 p.m. Our first order of business is to call roll. The secretary will now take the roll.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Please respond present when you hear your name. Barbara Shea,
Present.
Treon Brown, Miss Rebecca Wallace, Constance Franklin, Amarilis Jones, Miss Amarilis Jones, present. Rashawn Mahalan, myself, present. Bodisha Ridley,
Present.
Mr. Vince Thomas,
Present.
Mr. Devontae Phillips,
Present.
Miss Kalisha George.
Present.
Okay, great. Attendance has been taken and we have a quorum.
Our first order of business is to approve the agenda. This was provided to you and copies are here. Are there any changes to the agenda? I'm sorry, excuse me. Secretary Mahalan, is there a quorum present?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Our first order of business is to approve the agenda. This was provided to you and copies are here. Are there any changes to the agenda? May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye, so the secretary can record your vote.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Please say abstain. All right, thank you. We will review and approve the meeting minutes from our last meeting. The minutes have been provided to you. Are there any corrections? If there are no further corrections, may I have a motion to approve the previous minutes?
Make a motion to approve the previous minutes.
May I have a second? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Please say abstain. All right, thank you. Our first action item is King's strategic plan priorities.
Mr. Mulholland, can I share the screen?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry, I apologize. Discussion items. We will now move to discussion items on our agenda. Our first item is King Strategic Plan Priorities.
Thank you. Let me know if you can see this. Can you see it? Anybody? I don't know what we're seeing.
Yes,
Anybody
ma'am.
see the strategic plan?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. So tonight, the Atlanta Public Schools strategic plans last 5 years, and I believe we're in year 3 of this one. And they have also changed the format of the strategic plan. So this strategic plan you see in front of you will be moved to a different template down the road. But in the meantime, we're going to talk tonight about our school priorities and get some feedback from you all as to if these priorities are still on target, if we should adjust these priorities, if you have some suggestions in those areas. We're going to start with the academic program tonight. And so I'm going to read the priority, and if you all could give some feedback, tell me where you think it should be tweaked, it would be appreciated. Focus on increasing Black students, white students, Hispanic students, economically disadvantaged students, English learner students, and students with disabilities at proficient learner or above on GMAS, Georgia Milestone, end of grade in ELA, reading, and math. That is our first priority. That is a priority that we've had because if you all remember, we took most of our priorities from our 2019 strategic plan because that was the last year we had data to use. So that is our strategic plan moving forward. The reason we put Black students, white students, Hispanic students, we wanted to make sure we included every subgroup in our building, and we have quite a few now. So that's the first priority, and if we want to talk about it, let's go ahead and do that. And if we don't need to talk about it, I can talk about the performance measures that go along with this. And we can see if we want to look at those in any kind of way. So we're using the data from 2019 as a benchmark due to the fact that we had virtual learning and a pandemic in the last year and a half before we came back to school. So we want to maintain the percentage of full academic year students, Black students, scoring developing and above on ELA on the Georgia Milestone Assessment at 58.3% in 22, which is about 3 percentage points above where it has been. We want to maintain the percentage of full academic year Hispanic students developing and above in ELA to 61.3%. Maintain the percentage of economically disadvantaged students developing or above to 59.5%. Maintain the percentage of full academic year English learners scoring developing and above to 25%. Maintain the percentage of full academic year students with disabilities to 19.6%. We're trying to go 3 percentage points in every area. We do not have the white students listed here because most of them are already proficient or above. And we will just want to keep moving them up as well. But that since they're not a subgroup that is struggling, they are not on the key performance measure. Any feedback? Any comments? Questions?
Definitely focusing on the, is it safe to say growth from all?
Ms. Jones, you're breaking up. Wait, I didn't hear it. You must be in a bad sound.
You are. No, I was just saying there's a focus on our just to, we're looking for students, right? Even those, proficient.
Yes, yes. Yes, but the way we worded the priority, we started with proficient learners or above. We have a white subgroup. It's not a lot of white students, but I would say the majority of them are already proficient or above. They come to us proficient or above. So no, and we certainly aren't going to say no growth there. We certainly want growth across every category. But we can see the ones that we really are struggling with, and that's primarily special ed and our English language learners. There are real strugglers, special ed especially. Is it safe to say I should move on? Is that a yes? It's a yes.
Please move on. Please move on.
Yes.
Thank you. So the next one is increase the rigor into the curriculum through the implementation of the International Baccalaureate Middle Years Program. I gotta move my screen a little bit. Hold on. You know what? Let me back up because I didn't cover math. I'm so sorry. So this is the same format for math as we used in ELA, with the numbers being a bit different. So we're maintaining the percentage of full academic year Black students scoring developing or above and above on the math Georgia milestone at 60.8%. Maintain the FAY Hispanic students to 69.4%. Maintain the percentage of full academic year economically disadvantaged students to 62.6%. Full academic year English learners to 45.8%, and students with disabilities to 22.5%. And we were doing better in math. I think you can see that we were doing better in math, but we still have quite a long way to go, moving 3 percentage points. And any comments about that? Okay, I'm going to move on. And that would be to increase the rigor into curriculum through the implementation of the International Baccalaureate Middle Years Program. And we've been doing that. Remember, this is a goal we've kept. So we want to strive to increase each subgroup by at least 3 percentage points, implement 3 interdisciplinary units per grade level by 2022. In the past, we were doing the interdisciplinary plans, I'm so sorry, in connections. That's kind of where we started. And now we are moving it into our other content. And some of our other contents have already started that. But we just want to keep increasing the rigor of our International Baccalaureate program with each year that we've been authorized. We've added something every year. 100% of our full academic year students will receive a learner profile report card. And that is a big thing because we have to find a way to make that report card make sense to parents, because IB report cards are different. They're different. And so we're going to have to do some, I don't, for lack of a better word, some training for our parents so that they understand what those scores mean, because it's not ABCD, it's different. So that is something we're trying to take on this year. And we will continue to make every effort to do that. We are so deep in other things right now that has not come up for us to do, but I hope that next semester we can spend some time trying to figure that out. 100% of our full academic year students will receive a learner profile report card. And we want to enroll at, oh no, that's something else. Stuff. That's kind of where we are with the International Baccalaureate program. Any questions or concerns or suggestions about that? I'm going to say that I can move on.
Yes, Ms. Shea, you can move on.
Appreciate that. Strengthen teachers' capacity to provide rigorous and engaging instruction in all content classes. the interesting thing about this is, of course, that's always a goal for us. We always want to do that. And we've added some things this year, which are not on our strategic plan, because when we created this plan last year, we didn't know about intervention and all the things that the district was going to add to assist us in meeting the unfinished learning needs of our students who have been out for so long. So we are going to continue to provide this for our teachers by giving more extensive professional learning. We bought some new resources for them to use in addition to Read and Math 180, which is a district initiative that we do every 4 days a week during our intervention block, which is first thing in the morning. So we've really, we've jammed a lot of stuff into a day because we're trying to give students multiple opportunities to strengthen skills. It's been a heavy lift. I'm not going to lie. It's been a really heavy lift for us because this kind of came to us as we started the year, and it's just been a lot to try to get kids organized, structured into new groups. But it's also been very enlightening because we have some students who are doing very well in spite of the fact that they've been home for the extended period. And we have a lot of students who are truly struggling. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that, but there is a big struggle. And we are spending a lot of time trying to access resources that can help the academic struggle. And I think intervention is one of them. And we're still kind of fine-tuning that. Any questions or concerns about that? Okay, systems and resources. We're going to incorporate systems to identify and address academic concerns. And we did that, or are doing that, by the intervention program that we started. We have a care team that is looking at the behavior and social emotional issues of some of our students. And the thing we started this week were data talks. So we gave the MAP test. I don't know, I'm pretty sure you guys remember that I did that long presentation on MAP 2 weeks, whenever we met before. And the fact remains that we have lots of kids who are struggling. And so we decided to share their data with them on a one-to-one. They're meeting with teachers and they are looking at their data, and we're breaking it down for the students so that they understand where they are. And a lot of them in some of these meetings will say, well, I really didn't try that hard on that day. And that gives us a perfect opportunity to say, well, let's make a goal for the next time, because there will be a next time. And what we want at King for all of our students is for them to grow. So that has been, we've done data talks in the past. We haven't done them, of course, in probably 2 years. But they've been very meaningful to our students. They take some time, so we're moving kind of slow through the process because we want everybody to have a time to sit and talk to somebody about how they're doing. So that's something new that we've implemented this year. And of course, the next part is develop a positive and collaborative environment for students, staff, and all stakeholders. And to do that, we have implemented the behavior screener. That's one of the things, it's a district-wide initiative. And we're also enrolling more of our students into the Young Kings and Queens program here at King. We want to enroll 120 students in our after-school program, the After School All-Stars. But at this time, we have a waiting list. Ms. George can speak to that because of some transportation issues. I know you're all aware that we don't have enough people to drive our buses. So because of that, we've had to put a limit on how many kids can come to after school because we're only allotted 2 buses. And we're hoping that that can be worked out as second semester starts and maybe things get a little more stable. But, you know, for example, I rode a bus yesterday because it had 70 students on it. And the driver was just like, you know, and I rode it, and yes, it was very crowded and I don't feel good about it, but we need to get our babies home and there doesn't seem to be other options. So if I need to get on a bus and go home with the kids. And that's exactly what I'm going to do until transportation can hire enough people. I mean, it's the manpower that we're missing, not so much the buses, but the people to drive them. So that's kind of, those are our priorities. I know that as we meet during the course of this year, we want to tweak some perhaps as we in the building see things that where we have holes that we need to fill. But that's kind of where we are now. And when we see this again, it may or may not be on the new template. But I know that's another thing we have to work on this year is moving this to our new template. Any questions or concerns?
No, thank you, Ms. Shea.
You are welcome.
All right, we will now move on to information items.
Okay, well, I've already talked about the student data talks. They've just been, I think, and there's teachers on the Go team that can certainly speak to this, but it seems to have been, it's very beneficial when we sit down and talk to our students about how they're doing and also allow them to see how their data translates into a language they understand. And they understand you're reading at this grade level. That's kind of what they understand. Or this Lexile means you're reading this way. So I think it's been pretty powerful and will continue to be as we progress in that area. Progress reports, this will be, I want to say, the third progress report that will go home next Friday, a week from this Friday. This will be the last progress report before the report card that will go home either right before Christmas or right after Christmas. Whereas we say to the kids, with the grade that will not change, this will be your final semester grade. So every day on the announcements, they're reminded of trying to finish work, trying to talk to their teachers about what they can do to pull their grades up before the end of the semester, which I cannot believe I'm saying this, is right around the corner. We will be giving science and social studies benchmarks next week. These are district-made benchmarks, and we will be doing it the 16th, the 17th, and the 18th. We are only doing benchmarks in science and social studies this year. The testing that's going to be done through the Amplify Math program and the Amplify Reading program will suffice for benchmarks for ELA and math. Any questions about those things? Well, this is wonderful. Ms. George, would you like to make start the announcements?
Sure. Our announcements are, of course, we're going to go back and we're going to congratulate our King Jaguars, who on October 27th, they advanced to the district finals. Unfortunately, they did not win, but they played with a lot of heart. We are now about to start basketball season. Tickets for our first game are on sale now. There is limited seating for that game. Tickets have to be purchased in advance. If you go to the King website, there is a link where you can purchase your tickets on GoFan. And so if anyone is going to attend, I urge them to buy their tickets because seating is limited. The girls will play at 10 a.m. and the boys will play at 11:30 at Drew Middle School. There's also a APS district policy that was implemented a few months ago about clear bags. So that's very important. And that's also on the website for parents to see the measurements so that they will be prepared when they go to the game. In addition, tutorial is up and running, and that takes place on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And it's through, of course, our King teachers and supported by the After School All-Stars. Busing is provided as long as the kids have an application, which can be obtained from their teachers. We do have a wait list, but we have some students who may not attend any King, so we're going to open up a few spots, but transportation will be provided. Once they're accepted to the program, we can call them and let them know that they're spacing, but it takes place on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Are there any more announcements?
I have one. Yesterday, I had the total pleasure going to Atlanta Area Tech and sitting there for our Reach Scholar. We had another Reach Scholar this year, and his name is Carlos Montalvo. And the Reach Scholarship will provide him with $10,000 upon his graduation from high school. He will be followed through high school by a mentor and a tutor, and he will have access to that money. It's already been set aside for him. They had a big ceremony, and it was really, really cool. His parents were there. There was 11 Reach recipients from the Atlanta Public Schools this year. Actually, there was probably 8 from actual APS schools and 3 from the charters, KIPP, I think, and Centennial and Atlanta Neighborhood Charter. Each one of them had a Reach Scholar. And this is a pretty competitive thing. They interview the kids. They have a lot of children to choose from. And we are just blessed and honored that I want to say, these started in 2014, and we've had at least 5 scholars come through the Reach program. And that's pretty darn good for King Middle. Carlos is an 8th grader, and we're going to put something on the website with pictures from yesterday. So it was a really cool thing, really cool thing. And
Thank
that's
you,
all I
Miss.
have. If anybody else has something to add, please
Thank
do.
you, Ms. Shea. We have reached the end of our agenda. Are there any additional business items at this time? May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I motion to adjourn the meeting.
A second?
I second the motion.
All in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed, please raise your hand. Any abstentions, please raise your hand. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Ms. George.
Thank you. Go team members.
Thank you.
Thank you
Have
for
a good
coming,
evening.
everybody.
Thank you. You all have a wonderful night.
Thank you, Ms. Brown.